What's up, rock stars, and welcome to Gear Alchemy. Today, we're going to swap the pickups and my guitar that I call Kirk, and I'll go through why over at the workbench. I am recording the intro after the fact, so I can tell you, number one, the pickups sound great. I really like them a lot. Number two, when we get to the end and I'm testing the pickups, like, poking at them to see what works and making sure it all works like through the switches and everything, I forgot what happens when I'm in position 5. So, a five-way switch where the pickup selector is closest to the neck. What happens there is it's the hot coil only. So it's coil split hot coil only. I don't know why I forgot that or why I didn't even think of it at the time, but yeah. So you hear me go, I don't know. We just move on. So that's caveat number one. Caveat number two, and this is where I reach out to YouTube land to try to figure something out. As you can kind of see, as I move around, I am not the best at this. I've been working on guitars for a long time, swapping pickups and painting and doing all like setups and all kinds of work on them. But I am brand new to the whole YouTube thing. And let me record myself. So if anyone has any advice, I bought an Elgato face cam, which is supposedly like this really high def cam. And as I try to zoom in to where you guys can actually see me, like in the routing area, the control area, and like working on plots and stuff, like it gets very fuzzy. So I just can't. I had to edit those parts out because it didn't look good. So I don't know if there's a setting that I'm missing or something. And then same thing here. It's my first time ever using a green screen. As you can see, my hands disappear as I move around. So if there's something I'm doing wrong there or a setting or something, keeping in mind, if you give me any advice, I'm using a Mac. So I don't know if you guys have looked on YouTube, but yeah, every single thing to do with OBS Studios is on a PC. There is very little, if anything at all, having to do with a Mac. So more often than not, I'm watching a video of someone like, oh yeah, just click on this and this and this, and I try to look for something similar to that on my Mac, and I'm like, I don't have that. I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, but if you guys got any advice, by all means, please like throw it out there, and I'll see maybe because I'd like to make these videos better for you guys. I don't need to make the videos for me. I already know what I'm doing here. Uh, but yeah, if you got any thoughts or opinions on this, by all means, share it. Don't be afraid to even be bad. Like you're not going to hurt my feelings. I promise you. But yeah, hope you enjoy the video. See ya.
All right, now that we got the intro and the pleasantries out of the way, let's jump right in this. So this is a 2002 ESP LTD H1000 Deluxe. I bought it in December of 2003. At the time, this was known in the poor man's Kirk Hammett. Reason being that the only way you could really get EMG active pickups, and I say that specifically because at the time, EMG had made some passive pickups, and that's what they were trying to put in the lower line guitars. So the only way you could get EMG active pickups for the most part was like a Gibson Les Paul Zakk Wylde and a Kirk Hammett guitar or something along those lines. You had to pay, I think at least $1,500. Typically it was over $2,000, $3,000, whatever. So then the ESP specifically came out with a couple of line of product. One, their EC model, which is their Les Paul variant, and then two, this guy here that had EMG 81s in it. And so that's what was in the Kirk Hammett guitar. So this was the poor man's Kirk Hammett. Like I said, I bought this guitar December 2003, and it had the EMGs in it up until about 3 years ago. And I decided I was going to put this hot rodded humbucker set from Seymour Duncan. So it's got a jazz in the neck and a JB in the bridge. And it's been great. I don't have a problem with these pickups. Matter of fact, we're going to take these pickups out. We're going to put them on another day in a different guitar. That's how much I like them. But this past holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas time frame, I got this guy right here, a Blackened Black Winter set. Seymour Duncan. It was an open box, so I got it for like, I think $50 off or something like that. From a vendor. Like, so that just so you don't think it's like a Chinese knockoff or something, because those do exist. Be careful when you're shopping on things like eBay, Reverb, things like that. And they're getting very hard to tell the fakes from the reals. I mean, those fakes are getting really good. But yeah, so this Black and Black Winter set, This is one of what, 2 guitars I have that are black, and the other one is a Gibson semi-hollow body. So these obviously aren't going to go well with that. Plus, I love the 57 Classics that are in there. So I want to put these in Kirk here, and then like I said, we're going to take these pickups out, and on a different day we'll put them in something else. Meantime, let's jump right in. So something to know, a couple things to know before we get started on this. I probably should have put my hair up beforehand. So I already took the strings off. That way it'll make, and I took the control plate off the back too. That way you're not watching me just, take strings off and take out screws for a control plate. But this bridge here, before you do anything, look at how your bridge is oriented. Because, let me show you, which way are the screws facing? Are they facing toward the rear of the guitar? Or are they facing toward the front of the guitar? Now this guitar actually came with the screws facing this way. I changed that because to me it's kind of a pain, when it's sitting like this, to get in here to try to intonate the guitar is a true pain in the butt. So at some point I flipped this around, and now it's a lot easier to get in here with a screwdriver from behind and in between the strings than it is to try to go in between the pickup and the bridge. I don't know how it actually should have come, but that's how it came for me. But I swapped mine around. But before you do this, make sure you pay attention to that, because this will fall right off if you flip this over. So yeah, we're going to set that to the side, but I wanted to make sure to make note of that for you guys before we just dive into this. Now, this guitar is not wired like a typical ESP LTD. Okay, like I said, I've already been inside here. I already did a few things that are quite different. So keep in mind, if you're going to wire, if you're looking at this in terms of, oh, I'm going to wire mine exactly like this, then you're going to be a little off, right? So number one, this has a 5-way switch instead of a 3-way switch. So in this position, normally it's, if this was a 3-way, right, you'd have bridge pickup, and then you'd have both pickups together in the middle position, right? And then all the way up would be the neck pickup by itself. In my case, I think I remember this correctly, bridge pickup, both pickups in parallel, neck pickup, and then I think coil split bridge and coil split neck. So because of that, that means that these are wired to this switch instead of the typical way you would wire this, or pretty much anything outside of a Stratocaster. The pickups are usually wired to the pots, to the volume pot, and then the switch is wired then to the pots, if that makes sense. So in my case, the pickups are wired to the switch, and then the switch is wired to the pot. Also, I've got 2 push-pull pots here. This one, the volume pot, is set up for down. It functions like a normal volume pot. In the up position, it's a treble bleed. The tone is the typical, I forgot which way I put it. I think it's 0.022 capacitor in the down position, which is the typical that you would put on a humbucker. And in the up position, it's a 0.015. All right, let's flip this over here. Move this up a little bit. All right, so I have opened up a window here to give myself a little more light because I do not have the best vision. See this? This is what happens when you get old. This is what I have to do to swap pickups out now. Okay, kind of get down here. All right, I've already pre-tinned my iron. And then let me get needle nose pliers here so we can pull this stuff away. You want to be careful that you don't touch your soldering iron to anything else. Number one, you don't want to burn it. Alright, so as you can see, we got the red and the white off. Now we're going to get the black off here. Keep in mind, you always want to look at, even if you're got the same brand of pickups, you're still going to want to look at the wiring schematic that they provide, because sometimes they change colors of wires, and yeah, it's all right. Black's off. Sorry, I missed one. My fault. Alright, now that one's off. Alright. Now, we got to get this guy, preferably without burning this yellow wire here. There we go. Kinda. Now we're going to clean off our iron a little bit. Alright. So now, what we have to do here is we're going to have to take this pot here out. Well, I mean, I could probably get it with it in, but we're going to take it out anyway because we're going to have to redo the grounding there. And voila. So we got these here. You want to be careful not to remove this ground wire. That's for this here. Otherwise, I'll have to redo it. So you want to leave that guy intact and just take these guys off. So I'm probably gonna just do that. All right. Done, and done. All right. Now we should be ready. Pull the pickups out. Just want to do a little quick check here. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to flip this back over. Now we can take these out. I didn't do this before because I don't want the pickups flopping about while I'm trying to get stuff in and out. I keep flipping it back and forth, you know, the pickups are flopping around. You don't want to do that. So try to go ahead and set it up to just leave them in for now until you're ready to actually pull them. All right, a couple of things here. Keep in mind, you'll see, like, these are the screws from the neck, and that's the screw from the bridge. Quite a bit of difference, so make sure you keep them separated. Also, I can't remember if I said it earlier, so I'm going to throw it in there now, and if I did say it, I'll just edit it out. But before you start doing this kind of stuff, swapping pickups and all like that, right, I really honestly recommend learning how pots work, how switches work, that kind of thing. Because you'd be surprised, number one, you're troubleshooting. Because if you do this enough times, you're going to have situations where something doesn't work. It's bound to happen. And so as you do that, it sucks that you still end up having to take it to somebody and pay them to figure out that maybe it was something very simple, right? And you just didn't know. So learn how the pots work, learn how the switches work, and so that way when you come across an issue, one, you know how to troubleshoot it, and two, you'll be able to figure that out. because you have an idea on you know what makes it tick, kind of thing. So that's my 2 cents on that. Take it for what it's worth. All right, we have both pickups out. Money. All right. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn that light out, take these off. As well, it does help me see. It also gives me a headache, ironically, right? So what we're gonna do now you'll notice I only took out. Oh wow, that's broke. I only took out these 4 on the outer sides, right? Get up closer there. I took out these guys here. I left these. These are how you raise and lower your pickup if you're unaware of that. So don't take out the 2 in the middle. But now we can, because now we want the pickup out. So we're just taking that spring. I'm holding the spring as I'm taking this screw out. That way the spring doesn't go flying. Typically these come with springs anyway, but again, I'm trying to reuse this. So once it's off, I'm just going to pull the spring off here, set it to the side, set the screw to the side, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And boom, we have a Seymour Duncan Jazz model. Out and about.
What's up, rock stars?
Anyway, all right, so I got the pickups out. I am going to have to order this ring. Like I said, I hope you heard. I could probably make this work. But I really just, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just order a new one. Not to mention it's broke here on the end too. In the meantime, let's take a look at what we have here. Set that there. So there is no difference between this and the regular Black Winter, other than the script here is darked out, and this is like a black matte finish instead of a gloss black. So if you look at my JB here, difference between them is the light glistens off, right? So this is a flat or matte or whatever, and this has a gloss finish to it. That's really it. So you're talking black screws, the black script, and then just this matte black look. Now other than that, this is the exact same pickup as the regular Black Winter. This is the, oh wow, the base plate's black too. I didn't realize that. All blacked out. Well, this is the bridge pickup, constructed in September 8th of 2025. All right, we'll be able to put the bridge in today, but like I said, we're gonna have to hold off on the neck model. As mentioned, comes with springs, comes with new mounting hardware. I would say a disappointing thing here is the fact that it didn't come with black screws. So I'm probably going to reuse, that's why again you keep your old stuff. I'm going to reuse these screws because at least they're black. So I'll have black on black. If I use their screws, you know, I'm going to have, and it's fine, it wouldn't hurt anything, but you know, I'm going to have a black mounting ring with a chrome screw in it. So I'm going to stay with mine, that way at least I got black screws. And I'll use these for when I put those pickups in my PRS. Alright, let's see here. Oh wow, it does not come with any wiring instructions. I guess Seymour Duncan, because they used to come with them. So, and it could be because this was an open box. It may come with them anyway. And the person who sent this back, you know, failed to put them back in there. It happens. That's all right. I'll look it up. I'll Google it on the Seymour Duncan website. Luckily, they have all that stuff there. So, all right, I got my wiring diagram. Now, you may be asking yourselves, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but why didn't I just put, I mean, I'm taking out Seymour Duncans, I'm putting back in Seymour Duncans, so why didn't I just put the same wire, same, match it color for color kind of thing? You want to be real careful about doing this. Number one, if you do switch manufacturers, they don't all use the same color wires. So a red wire with Seymour Duncan might mean something completely different than a red wire with DiMarzio or Bare Knuckle or whoever. So be real careful about just swapping wires color for color. Don't do that. Even when you stay with the same manufacturer, though, sometimes they change things. So you want to look up, and Seymour Duncan hasn't just verified that, but just in case, like, it's best to just look it up and make sure. Or maybe, just maybe, I made a mistake the first time I wired it, and so I wired it incorrectly. That's always a possibility too. So if you're putting in, especially if you're taking out old stuff that you didn't do, you don't know. So just, take the correct road there and just look it up, and then just go off the wiring schematic. That way you know it's done right. All right, I'm gonna take a moment and put in this. I'll put the mounting ring on this, and I'll be right back. I just thought about something else before I actually get started on this. Be mindful before you take your mounting rings off, your pickups off, on how these went. As you can see, it leans, it's beveled a little bit, so you don't want to put it back the wrong way, right? On a flat top, you're probably not going to have this issue, but on a carved top, which this is a carved top, so you absolutely will. And then it's more pronounced, obviously. I mean, it's pretty noticeable in a neck pickup mounting ring. You're not going to mistake the neck for the bridge most likely, but even then, as you can see, there's still a bevel there, or a lean, or whatever that's called. So make sure you put it back the right way. All right. Actually, I guess I'll show you guys as I get this started. So I know it goes this way, right? This is towards the rear. The fat end's toward the rear. Just think about it, fat and rear, right? And I want the name. I want the name to be towards the rear as well. And there we are. For the time being, I'm just going to make it flat with the top. And then after we put it in and I do all the work and restring it and everything, then I'll worry about how high it needs to be. But for the time being, we'll just leave it there. So now I'm going to feed this through and then screw this down, and then we'll be back on the other side. Hey, remember guys, you are going into wood, so be careful, make sure your holes are lined up. And the last thing you want to do is, you end up making a hole bigger than it needs to be because you're slightly off. Then your pickup has like a little wiggle room in it, and that ain't good. So I'm only threading in just a little, and then I lift it, make sure that I'm in the hole. I'm not, hitting it like at an angle or something like that. Just a little tidbit there. All right. Of course, I got my goofy light back on with my old man glasses. Don't tighten these down too hard. They are plastic. They will break. Plus, you don't need to anyway. I mean, all they're doing is holding the pickup in. So you don't need to, crank on them. Just get them snug. All right. Now we are ready to flip over. Look at that though. That is pretty. Now here's our lead. Now something that a lot of guys do is they're gonna cut this wire. Look at all that lead. It's like 6 inches, 7 inches of lead. They're just going to cut it off and just make sure it's just enough to fit. I don't like doing that. One, these may not stay in this guitar. As you can see from my hot rodded humbucker set, my Jazz and my JB. If I go put that in a Les Paul now and I cut it to fit this, it's not going to fit that Les Paul. There's not enough lead there. So I don't like doing that. I like leaving the lead as long as I can. Sorry, hopefully you guys got to see everything there. I like leaving the lead as long as I can. You know, I've got enough room in here. You know, I can kind of tuck it, you know, and wrap it around and stuff. I know it's not ideal. There's probably going to be people that, you know, frown upon me for doing that, but I'd rather have extra lead in case I ever want to do something later on than have to splice into it. And I've done that. Anytime you start splicing wires, there's a possibility of a short. There's a possibility of something going wrong. And it sucks when you got a guitar back together, but you had to splice a wire, and now you don't know if your issue is, you know, wherever your final wire is, or if it's at that splice. And you could try continuity tests and everything. Everything could be good. Turns out there's still there's something. There's something there. It's the electricity's not making it. The power's not making it. So I want to try to keep this lead as long as I can in case I ever want to do something else with it. Alright. Alright, so as this shows, the bridge pickup is on. Let's see if we can go back up here. The bridge pickup is here. So that's how I want to wire this. The neck pickup, the red and white, are going to go, or I think it's red and bare. Don't quote me on the colors yet. Are on this back right side. So that's how I want to do this. Alright. So we have, oh, it is white. Alright. So we're going to put the red and white together. And that's what we're going to put right there. Which, yes, it just so happens that is exactly the way it was before. Okay. And our black wire is going to go to this front one up here. And then we're just going to keep going down the line like that. Alright. Stand by. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. But I've got my red and my white put there. Put a little dab of solder here. And we're good there. A little tug. Make sure she's good. She ain't going nowhere. Make sure you keep your soldering iron clean. Alright. We're good there. Now our black wire here needs to come over here. And I want to say it goes to the front one. Yep. Goes to the front. So it's going to go right there. All right. That should be good. All right. And then the last thing, we got to put this this bare wire and the screen wire together. And then put this to the pot here. These wires get rather hot pretty quickly, so make sure you use pliers to kind of hold them in place. And boom. Bridge pickup is done. She is in. Ready to rock and roll. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and at least somewhat install the neck pickup. I mean, obviously, again. Alright, so I got my mounting rings in. The second set of mounting rings. So I'm going to talk about something that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about. Not all mounting rings are the same size. So the ones I ordered actually were too big. They were too long. So if I would have tried to do this, it would have been, you know what, let's get me off of there. It would have been too long by like this much, right? So it's not a lot, but it's just actually probably about that much. So it's just enough to where your mounting holes are not going to line up. So if you get the wrong size, don't try. I learned this years and years ago, but don't go like, well, you know, if I tilt my head just a little bit, I can see the hole, so I'm just gonna, you know, shift the screw this way. Yeah, don't do that. You're gonna mess up your top. For the love of God, don't do it. Buy the right size. So in this case, surprisingly, this is an overseas made guitar, being an LTD, right? But the mounting rings are the size. If you buy one of like, oh, this will fit Epiphone Les Pauls. Epiphone Les Pauls have the longer ones. So I actually had to buy ones that are made for a Gibson. Gibson has a shorter one. So this should be the right size. And then we can get the neck pickup done. Also, it is the same thing for your pots. So let's compare here. Let's compare size. There's a joke in there somewhere. Yep. All right, that's the right size. So all of them are the same size in here. So don't just look at the inner length or diameter or whatever and go, oh yeah, that's the same size. They're all the same size in here. At least I think they are. It's this length that's different. I think this is the same width too, if I'm not mistaken, even on the outsides. So really all you're looking for is this here or the comparison of these holes. Not these holes. Not the pickup mounting holes, the actual mounting frame, or the length of the frame itself. Those are the only two things that are different. All right. So yeah, that's the correct size. So I can go ahead and put this neck on. The other thing I want to talk about is pots. So a few years ago, when I swapped these from the 1 meg pots, or whatever it is, I think it's 1 meg, that comes with EMGs, I put 500K pots in. Because that's what you use with passive pickups. I remembered that my original black knobbies didn't work. Let's move that down just a little bit so you can see. My original black knobbies did not work with the pots. So I bought these guys. You know, these are almost kind of like a one size fits all. You just, you know, push it down on. And they were cheaper, you know. So I got some black ones to take it back to spec so it looks better. I never really cared for those clear plastic ones on there. I don't know why I didn't just buy black ones, but yeah. So I bought the clear plastic. I didn't like them. So since I'm already doing this, I figured I'd, you know, go back to my black knobbies. The first set of those I bought didn't fit either. Google says that most of your split shafts, so you have solid shafts and split shafts, most of your split shafts are, if I'm not mistaken, 1/4 inch. And so that's what I bought. Or maybe, no, I think it is the other way. I think it's 6 millimeter, which is slightly smaller than 1/4 inch. So I bought, but I remembered that mine didn't fit. And so I was like, no, it's got to be the other way. So I bought 1/4 inch, and no, as it turns out, it was the other one. So I had to send the 1/4 inch back. These are the 6 mil. And it looks like they fit. And actually, I was a little worried about them too, but they went on there, so it just kind of fell right on. I was like, ugh, that's still too big. But all right, we're good. So that's all I have for now. We're going to come right back, and I'll have this guy, you know, mounted in there, and then we'll just we'll finish up the wiring. All right. All right. Cover that up again. I'm gonna move this up so you guys can, you still won't really be able to see with that, but. All right. Clean off our tip. Still 10 from the last time, but we'll put a little more on the end here. Nice clean tip. Shiny tip means it does what you want it to do. Okay. Rule number 1. Always get your wires ready first. I don't know why I didn't do that, but here we are. Got a little overzealous, a little excited. Alright. So these came out of here. You want to kind of fish them this way. You want to be careful. We don't want to, actually I do want to push that kind of down in there. That way I don't have to go over it later. Alright. So now we're going to solder these red and white together. It's right there. Alright. Sometimes helps to have something hold it in place. So again, the wire gets kind of hot. Alright. That one's good. Now we can take our attention to the black wire. Which again does not mean ground in this case. We're gonna tin our wire a little again. It should go on a lot better that way. Make sure my other wires are out of the way. Don't want to burn nothing. Except solder anyway. Tip. We're good there. All right. Last thing, well, next to last thing. Last thing for the pickup, anyhow. We're going to get these guys, the bare wire and the green wire, to this pot here. All right, there we go. Everything a little tug. Good there. Now we gotta find some way to get this guy there. All right. Okay. Now, get to fit all this in here. See, it actually goes pretty well. Now for the real test, what we got to do, plug it in, make sure we get sound for everything. You want to do this before you string it, because if you don't, it turns out you ain't got no sound, especially if you got like a Strat, you know. If you put a Strat in and that's the case, then you know you just wasted those strings. All right, so I got an amp on first thing. We got sound there, so we're gonna plug in bridge. We have sound. Both pickups on. Bridge pickup off. So bridge pickup is all the way back here. Both pickups in parallel. Neck pickup only. Now this, I'm not sure. All right, bridge. So it's going to be the outer coils here. This one and this one. Yeah, so that one and that one. Both the hot coils. I think that's right. Yeah, that should be both the hot coils. And all the way up. Not sure. Does the volume work? Volume does work. Does the tone work? I don't know, we'll be able to tell, but yeah. Yeah, it does sound darker. I guess it does work. All right, fair enough. And there you have it. Next thing we'll have to do is just do a setup, string it up, and get her done. Thanks for watching the pickup install portion. If you want to stick around for the stringing and setup, by all means. You already saw me do, or I have another video rather, where I did the frets already and the fingerboard, and polished. Actually, I don't think I recorded me polishing the guitar. I thought that was kind of goofy. But yeah, we'll put the bridge back on and string it up and get everything done. Feel free to stick around. Thanks.